I made a huge mistake with my 100-unit apartment building, and I wanted to document this mistake on YouTube. This is not gonna be a highly edited video. There's not gonna be a bunch of B-roll. There's gonna be none of that. It's just gonna be me talking directly to you, taking some ownership that I made a big mistake. I wanna document it on here, share it with you, so not only I can learn and grow from it in a bit of a cathartic experience, so you can learn and grow from it as well. When I started on YouTube, I never wanted to be one of these channels that just sits in a podcast studio and talks about theory and talks about all these topics, but they don't actually live it. I feel like you follow me, you connect with me because I'm bringing you inside of my real life. And recently there's been a lot of success. Like we've bought a 100-unit, we're under contract right now for 42 units. We just 100% refinanced out 3 properties, and some comments from people have been like, wow, you're making it look easy, or you guys are just crushing it. And the reality is we deal with a lot of struggles and challenges, and I don't just want to show you the wins, I want to show you the losses as well, so you can see what it takes to get to the win. The mistake was I had to fire the manager who I recruited, I hired, I brought into our business to specifically run this business. I had to fire her within 2 weeks. And I want to just break down like what I've learned. I took some notes here, so if you see me looking down, I want to break down what I've learned from this experience to help you, no matter where you're at in your real estate investing journey. And whether you're just in business or you're looking to get into real estate, whatever, sooner or later, you're going to have to hire people. And I'll be transparent with you. Hiring people and managing people has always been my biggest challenge. I'm a high performer individual. I'm not saying I'm Michael Jordan, but I'm like Michael Jordan. Like, give me the ball, get out of my way, kind of a person. But Michael Jordan was kind of a shitty team member, right? And the only way to grow in business, like I idolize Steve Jobs a lot. I look up to Steve Jobs a lot. Again, he was very polarizing of a character, very polarizing of a manager. It was on record that his employees did not like working for him, but he created Apple computers. So I'm not, again, calling myself Steve Jobs or Michael Jordan. I'm trying to find my own way. So I'm gonna just share these lessons with you, what happened, so hopefully you can learn from this wherever you're at in business or even in life, because we're gonna talk about personal ownership. So number one, why did I fire the manager? You know, a philosophy I did learn early on. So technically, I've been managing since I was 25. I was 25 years old. I was a regional program manager at Lifetime Fitness, 33 now. So I have management experience. Hire slow, fire fast. I hate interviewing people because no matter what, when you interview someone, they're on best behavior. It's like a first date. You really don't know what you're getting. I interviewed people multiple times for this position and for this 100-unit. I really wanted to make sure we had the right person in there, because if you go watch the previous videos about this property, it's a major takeover plan. There's major management issues we had to clean up, essentially the tenant base. I don't want to be redundant because we already talked about them in the past videos, so you haven't seen those, go check this out. I interviewed this person multiple times, and then we brought her in for like 2 weeks of training on our portfolio before we actually took it over. So I was sold. I had the right person. They had tons of experience, 25 plus years experience working for both small mom and pop owners like my wife and I, who grew a portfolio, and then large, well-respected management companies. They presented themselves really well, spoke really well, asked the right questions, did all the right things. We had some red flags immediately when this person started training. Just a quick frustration level, flustered very easily, not able to do simple tasks like Google Drive. It just kind of was overwhelming. Looked very disheveled, looked came in looking good, but then just as the training went on, just looked worn down and beat down. We decided to continue on, obviously, because I didn't want to pull that person right then. I try to give the benefit of the doubt, but something I've learned is what you see is what you get with people. They're not going to drastically change overnight. They're not that type of person. What you see is typically what you get with a employee level person, right? So took over the management of the property, just utter chaos. I mean, Andrea knew right away, our other team members, our other agents, the other managers we have all kind of just had red flags about this person. I'm not going to get into it too much because I don't want to demean this person at all. But the big thing was lack of organization. They would take notes like everywhere, and there would be just notes everywhere and mess everywhere. And then I would tell, like, if I have to tell you something and then I have to repeat it multiple times, that's when I get really concerned and I get really upset, because as a manager, as a leader, you have to know that you're dictating to your people and you're communicating to your people, and they got it, right? Like, we don't have time to repeat ourselves multiple times. It's okay to educate someone and show them where they made a mistake, but I was saying things, it was getting written down, it was getting lost. I mean, they were losing the keys to the units. Our maintenance guy, who's a wonderful guy, lovely dude, the nicest dude on the face of the earth, he's like, I can't work with her. She's like barking orders at me. Just multiple issues with that. And tenants were telling our other manager, we're going to the office during office hours. We see that the manager's in there. They're not answering the door. They're not responding to us. They're not answering the phone. So we made a very tough decision that we had to dismiss that person. I believe it was this Monday. The weeks are kind of blurring together right now, but we had to dismiss this person this Monday. So you just bought a 100-unit apartment building, biggest building you've ever done. You've trained this person for 2 weeks. You put your stamp on this. They met our investor met them. I'm like, dude, we feel good about them, blah, blah, blah. I put my name and reputation with this person, like I'm signing off on them. You take over a property, there's a lot of delinquency, there's a lot of evictions pending that you have to take over. You need to trust this person. You quickly learn in 2 weeks, you can't trust this person, you fire them. Not a fun position to be in. Not a great place to be in. But something I was taught early on that I want to teach you, hire slow, fire fast. The biggest mistake would have been if we would have kept that person in there. If we would have kept going, if we would have said, well, we can't fire them because now we'll have to rehire, and now we can't, no, we got to give them more time. That would have been the biggest mistake. Don't turn a small mistake into a massive mistake. And I would categorize this as a medium-sized mistake. So hire slow, fire fast. So what else did we do, and where are we at now, and what else can we learn from this? And number 2, be a solution-oriented person. It would have been easy to sit and sulk and sit and complain, sit and blame, but solution-oriented person. Stopped, said we're getting rid of them. What are we doing next? I learned this from FDR. FDR was the president during World War II when, for the first time ever, American soil was attacked by the Japanese, Pearl Harbor. They told FDR, he sat there for a quick minute, collected himself and said, okay, what are we gonna do about it? And that's like powerful leadership, right? Think about that. Like, that's a total catastrophe. You're the first president ever to be attacked on US soil, and he doesn't cry, he doesn't complain, he doesn't go haywire and start punching things. He says, what are we gonna do about it? I've learned that. I've tried to model that in my personal life, in my business life. So that's what we did. My wife and I met on a Sunday. We said, we're dismissing this person Monday. What are we gonna do about it? Personal responsibility. When you are a leader, it doesn't matter if you're a leader of a one-person business, yourself, or if you're a leader of a medium-sized business, which I think we are now with however many people we have, or a large business. Personal responsibility. Is it my fault that this person sucked? No, because I didn't make them suck and make them horrible and make them like deceive us on the interviews and then show up and just shit the bed. But it is my responsibility because it's my name on the property and my name on the business plan and my name on the projections to the bank and to the investors and all that. So whenever you can, it's very hard to do this, and a lot of people struggle with this, but we have to take personal responsibility, guys. Even if it's not your fault, it's our fault, because what does blaming someone else do? So if I did blame this person, how does that solve anything, right? If you do blame people in your life who have done wrong to you, who have screwed you over, who have whatever, it might feel good in the moment, but how does that move you towards a solution? Remember, we're always just trying to move towards a solution. We have a problem. I would say to my team members, don't present me a problem without presenting me 3 solutions as well. So move towards a solution. We have to take personal responsibility. It's a tough pill to swallow, but I've been around really good leaders and they always take personal responsibility. So we ended up doing interviews. And I'll be honest, guys, I was nervous at this point, and maybe jaded is the right word, that I was gonna get more of the same, right? And I've learned something about the difference between these types of property managers that I want to get to you in a second here. But something, and where I'm really positive with this about, is we have a promote from within culture, and I've always believed in that. You want to take team members and you want to elevate them up. You want to empower them. You want to enable them to grow with you. Everyone who generally wants to work in a small business, they're attracted to a small business versus a very large business because they see more growth opportunity. And my job as the visionary of the company is to sell them on that vision. So we were able to I did a lot of interviews, really sat with it. I was, again, solution thinking. I was grilling food. I remember I'm like, I think we actually have this right person on our team right now. And her name's Crystal. She's a real estate agent with our real estate brokerage, but she owns 7 rental properties. She had management experience. I just like Crystal as a human being. And I've learned this too. Hire more based on, do I like this individual? Do I like their skill set? Do I like their attitude? Do I like their bandwidth? Do I like their personality versus skill set? This person I hired, who was the mistake, had the resume, had the experience, but didn't have the attributes and qualities. We promoted Crystal from real estate agent to now community manager, running this asset, running property management in our business. And I can confidently tell you, we have the right person now. She's got the bandwidth. She's a solution-oriented person. She's fluid, flexible, nimble. She's just with it. She's detail-oriented. She comes in. She's good at mitigating stress, or as to where the other person was like, freaking out and stress, right? You've heard me say before, stress management is the ceiling to your potential. So we've got the right person now. I'm so excited about that. And whenever you can, promote from within, because I knew the type of person she was because I've seen it. I've absolutely seen her at work. I've seen her quality. I've seen her due diligence. I was able to do that, put her in the manager chair, excited to bring you along the journey now and, see how she's doing. So real quick, the difference I learned with managers. So with property managers, come to find out, this person who we did hire, who we had to let go, they came from a large company, a large 700 unit asset. They had several leasing agents and sub-managers underneath them. So they were used to just sitting back in the manager's chair and essentially barking out orders and saying, hey, leasing agents, go do these things. I'm sitting back just in the office. For the property we took over, there's only one person in there. It's 100 units, one manager, very simple, very straightforward. That's how it works. They were not used to that. They said they could do that. Oh, that'd be no problem. But when push came to shove, they weren't able to do that. So I've learned, you're looking for, if you do hire a property manager, you don't want the person from the big company, at least in my experience, you don't want the person from the big company who's used to just sitting like in the management chair like I'm in, right? The business manager chair. You want someone who's used to knocking on doors for leases, for renewals, for delinquency, who's used to just living in the trenches. And that was the big difference I learned, and the big mistake I made. I went for the nice resume, the tons of experience, the person with multiple decades experience, who came from a big asset and a big company, but really I should have been looking for someone who ran 50, 60, 70, 80, 120 units by themselves, who didn't have leasing managers, who didn't have on-site maintenance managers to go do everything. If I was looking for a regional manager, maybe they would have been the right fit, but we're looking for a hands-on property manager. That's the mistake I made. So always verify the experience level and always make sure don't just get caught up on the resume. That's what I got caught up on. I got caught up on the resume, made the mistake, but we've been able to correct it. So I don't want this to be too long. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your takeaways. Let me know if you have any questions. Quick reminders and quick recaps. Number one is your business. Hire slow, fire fast. In the past, my wife and I got caught up, like we feel bad. Like we feel bad for this person, so we kept them. Always bites us in the butt. That was the biggest mistake. So like I said, I was really proud of us this time around. We hired slow, we fired fast immediately, but it's your business. It's your money. It's your name on loan. Guys, I don't know about you, but I don't come from trust fund, right? This is it for me. Like, I'll never forget, my father told me when I started my first business, he said, if you fail, you can't come to me to bail you out because I got nothing, right? And if you're like me and you're like that and you come from nothing, we have an advantage because we know what it's like to go without. We know what it's like to come from nothing. We know what it's like to fucking fight and claw and scratch for everything we have. So I'll be damned if I let anybody get in the way with that. A wrong manager, a freaking, anybody. Like, no one's getting in the way of my vision of success. And right now it's blinders on, 1,000 units or bust. Like, that's where we're going to. So if you're like me and you're a self-made entrepreneur, you have the advantage because you know what it's like to start from nothing. I've done everything inside of my businesses. I started with just myself, and then my wife came on to help, and now we built to where we're at today. So if you're like that, that is an advantage, but don't forget it's your business. Like we already said, hire slow, fire fast. Right person might be in the wrong chair. We had the right person in Crystal on our team. We just had her in the wrong chair. She was just doing sales with real estate. Come to find out, she's capable of so much freaking more, and now we're so excited to grow with her. And who knows, she could be our regional manager in the future and our takeover manager because she's already doing extremely well with this. When we let go of the other manager, the delinquency was $60,000 at this property, which is absurd because it's part of the problems we've been dealing with. That's why we took it over. She's already got us down below $20,000. In the history of this property being owned by the previous owner for the 2 or 3 years they owned it, they've never been under $15,000 in delinquency on a 100-unit apartment. We're about to hit that. If not this month, which is our first full month of ownership, definitely by next month. I've got the right person in the chair right now. I've course corrected. We're in a good spot now. Excited to keep showing you guys these updates. Last part, don't be afraid of failure. Failure is feedback. Look, I made a huge mistake. I was very frustrated by this. I was very disappointed by this. I didn't want to have to, tell our investor like, hey, we already kind of had to get rid of somebody, but we corrected it. And there's no failure that will take you out of the game beyond not ever getting started. As long as you never quit, and as long as you get started, all failure is feedback. Don't fear failure. Everything can be corrected. Everything can be fixed. And now I've learned valuable lessons. Without failure, there are no lessons. And without the lessons, you got to learn before you earn, right? You got to make the lessons, make the mistakes, and you find the success. So, hey, this ended up being a little bit longer. If you enjoyed this just kind of raw update, transparent update, again, no B-roll, no editing, just you and me talking. I want you to see every part of our journey, the good, the victories, the success, but the mistakes, the failures, and the lessons. And so you can see how a man corrects himself and recovers from a mistake. Because that's the most important. I don't want to just, we don't admire people for what we have. We admire people for what they've gone through and what they've overcome. So remember that for you too. People want to know what you've overcome in your life. People want to know your journey. And remember, it's what you've overcome in life, not what you have, that really determines your success. So if you guys enjoyed, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. Until next time, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of this journey. It's an awesome thing. We'll talk soon. Thanks.